Today we're going to talk about if you are given a point and a slope, how you would write the equation. So in order to do this, we're going to use what's called point-slope formula. Okay, and so this makes sense. Point-slope, you're given a point, you're given a slope, and you're able to write the equation. So we're going to use this formula today to plug in and write an equation. For example, in example number 1, we're going to write an equation that has a slope of 2 and passes through the point 8, 20. So in order to plug in, I'm just going to label this x1, y1, and I'm going to copy my formula down as I see it. So y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. So from here, I'm just going to plug in everything. So I've got y minus 20, since that's y1, equals m, slope is 2, and then x minus x1 is 8. So from here, we've done this before. We're going to follow order of operations. So go ahead and multiply through first, drag down your y minus 20 equals. So when you multiply, you get 2x minus 16. From here, add 20 both sides in order to cancel the negative 20. So you get y equals 2x plus 4. So this equation, if you were to graph it using, remember, slope is 2 and y-intercept, remember this is called slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. If you were to graph this equation, it obviously has a slope of 2, like what's required, and it will eventually pass through the point 8, 20. And how we check that we did everything right is, obviously the slopes should match, so the slope of 2 should match the slope of 2. And second way to check is to plug this coordinate in where we see x and y. So here, y, if we plug in 20, for y, and then drag down the 2, plug in 8 for x, drag down the plus 4. Let's go ahead and do this math. So we get 20 equals 16 plus 4, and yay, 16 plus 4 is 20. So everything checks off. Our slopes matched up. When we plug in the point, we got a true statement, so we did everything right. So let's go ahead and try another example then. So example number 2. Okay, sometimes you'll see the slope written change in y over change in x, remember? And if change in y over change in x is negative 4 and the point is negative 2, 16. Now without having to get out graph paper, plot this point, do the slope, find the equation, we can use that formula that we just learned. So y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Let's go ahead and plug into our formula. So when we plug in, we'd get y minus y1 is 16. Remember, this is x1, y1 equals our slope, or our m, is negative 4. X minus, or x1 is negative 2. Ooh, so we've got minus negative 2. Remember, when we have minus a negative, it turns into a big old plus. So now drag down the y minus 16, distribute that negative 4 out, you get negative 4x minus 8. So here, last step, add 16, add 16. Okay, we get y equals negative 4x plus 8. So remember, this is called slope-intercept form because our slope is negative 4. Yay, that's our first check. The slope matches the slope, negative 4. That's our y-intercept. Okay, now let's go ahead and check our work by plugging in 16 for y, plugging in negative 2 for x, So let's do this math. We get -4 minus 2. Okay, that's positive 8. And 8 plus 8 is 16. Woohoo! We did it right. So check off. We wrote the equation correctly. So let's just practice with one more example. So one more example. Example 3. Okay, let's look at a m equals 8, slope of 8, and a coordinate or point of 3, -6. So I'm going to go ahead and label this x1 and y1. So we get y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. So plugging into our point slope formula, alright, we get y minus y1, which is -6. So minus a negative. I'm going to go ahead and change that right away so I don't forget. That turns to a plus, equals m, which m is 8, x minus 3. So distribute through, we get y plus 6 equals 8x minus 24. So subtract 6 from both sides. We get y equals 8x minus 30. So our slope is 8. Okay, so they match. We did right there. And then our y-intercept is -30. So let's go ahead and check our math by plugging in -6, our y value for y. Plug in 3, our x value for x. Okay, so -6 equals 8 times 3 is 24. 24 minus 30 is -6. Yay! All right, go ahead and submit the whisk and have a wonderful evening.